Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Tree the LPC, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Self-Aware and Effective Podcast. You guys, thank you so much for your support so far this season. Really appreciate all the love that is pouring in. I cannot wait to share today's guest with you guys. I have been so excited to speak with her because she's going to be talking to you guys about something that I dealt with for so many years of my life. She's going to share her story of how she's overcoming those obstacles in her life. And it may be something that truly resonates with you as well. I have with me today, Julie Dummar. She is the author of Sink Full of Dishes. She's also a motivational speaker, a blogger, and a podcast host of the Selective Hearing Podcast. She's going to be here and she is going to share so much of her story, so much of her journey in her new book as well. So without further ado, please welcome to the Self-Aware and Effective Podcast, Miss Julie Dummar. Hey, Julie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining. Definitely appreciate your time. Really looking forward to chatting with you, as I said in your intro, because it is something that I think that people really, your story is really something that people really will resonate. And I really resonate with it. So can we go ahead and just get started by having you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
So I am Julie Dummar, and I started in entertainment a long time ago as an actress and a model. And I kind of graduated from that into being a filmmaker. So I've done all the things, right? Produce, direct, everything. My whole reason for that was I got to affect change, right? So as an actress, I didn't like the way Black actresses were being treated. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll change the narrative. I'll get behind the camera. So I did that for a while. Then I got married, became a mom.
Okay.
And in those kind of transitions and in that level of stillness, I became aware of some things that were going on with me that weren't okay. Mm-hmm. And those things were covered up with the busyness, the career, the man, the dog, the social life, the check all the boxes, everybody. I was doing it. And those things were keeping me distracted. So get married, get pregnant, get COVID, had to sit down
Wow.
and think about if you really want to know, I got married, got pregnant, COVID, got pregnant again. That's how everything happened with me, where I just had to look in the mirror one day and say, girl, you're not okay.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
It is. And I'm trying to fast track it all into one big thing for you guys. But it happened like that. And when it happened, I was like, okay, I'm not okay. That was the first step. And even then, in acknowledging that there was a lot going on, I still really didn't know how to start addressing things, healing things. And so I went through the process of all of this. And so first came Selective Hearing, live from my couch. And it was just me talking about this process, really trauma dumping on my Facebook friends and family, but I didn't have anywhere else to go with it. And we were all stuck in the house anyway. So it went from me saying I'm not okay to me trauma dumping to me getting help. And then people saying, okay, I see a change in you. What are you doing? To me kind of rebranding and restructuring everything and circling back around with Selective Hearing as a podcast and as a blog. But me really, one, sharing my story. Because the journey is never ending, right? As long as we're on this earth, we're going to be battling through it. So first it was opening up and talking about it and trying to make other people understand that they're not alone. And it's okay to talk about it, and it's necessary to talk about it so that we can start moving through these spaces in a healthy way. One, that was what I did. So I started talking about this on the show. Then people are like, okay, we get it, but how? So I start bringing doctors, psychologists, social workers, you name it, coaches, all kinds of people on the show, and start providing resources to the listeners. So hey, it's not a one size fits all thing. Reach out to these people who are coming on the show
Yeah.
And maybe they can help you or point you in the right direction where you can find the help that you need to get you started on your journey. So that's where I am now. And then the book came.
Mm.
So the book came from me writing in my journal for a year. Just writing. I've always battled with self-talk, and I'll get into, as we go on, the things that contribute to that. But it was write down all the things that you say to yourself. If you catch yourself saying something nasty, write it down. If you catch yourself doubting, write it down. If you catch yourself talking yourself out of something, write it down. So I was writing everything down. And as I was writing everything down, a year later, I went back and read it all.
Mm. And
I was like, I'm going to write a book about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to name that girl that lives inside of me that talks to me. Her name is Monica, everyone. So I'm going to name her.
It's Monica.
It's Monica.
Gotcha.
And she stays stuck it on me. So I call her Monica. I wrote about her in this book. And I thought by like giving her a name, a face, a family, friends, all these different things, that it would help like us see that negative narrator as a person, because it is a part of us. See it as a living, breathing entity and be able to identify with it, address it, help resolve it, and help live with it. Because one thing that I want everybody to know too, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It stays with you forever. So it's just how you start dealing with it, and who are you going to let be in control and hold that power? Is it going to be you or Monica?
I gotcha. Yeah, I love the idea of naming that negative voice. That inner critical voice can be so damaging to our self-worth and to our self-esteem, because sometimes it can be hard to differentiate that voice from your true or authentic voice. Did you find that it was difficult at times to kind of decipher what was real and what was that negative self-talk or that negative inner critical voice?
In the beginning, yes. And that was really because that's the only voice I ever heard.
Mm.
Was the voice that told me you're not good enough? Was the voice that was like, why do you think you can do that? Was the voice that said, maybe you should wait? It doesn't even have to. I know as I've been going through this experience and I've been sharing the book with people, a lot of people have been like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I do that. Or, I sent the book around to a lot of people and was like, give me feedback before I move on to the next phase. And when people were saying I didn't know, or, oh my gosh, I do that too, or I did that today, one of my friends even said, the things that I say to myself, I wouldn't say out loud or to another person. So why am I saying that to me? And I was like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those things.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. And I think that so many people don't recognize it, and they don't realize it's something that is so common for people. I didn't realize that I dealt with the inner critical voice until, if I'm being perfectly honest, like 2017. I was like really like down on myself, doubting myself about a lot that was going on in my life. And like, it was very present to me in self-sabotaging my relationships, because that voice would get so loud because of attachment stuff. It would just tell me nobody wants you and you're not going to be able to achieve success and things of that nature. And I didn't realize what it was until I did some deep dive research into it. And I was like, wow, how do I overcome this thing? If someone is listening and they never even heard, about negative self-talk or an inner critical voice, how would you describe that? Like, what would you, if they're not familiar with it at all, how would you describe what that is?
So our negative narrator, or in my case, Monica.
Monica.
To give the best example, say I want to try something new. Monica will show up and ask me, why are you doing that? Or create a situation where she's providing evidence, because it is a protection. Even though it's not serving us well, it's a protection. Our negative narrator is this alarm system that's going off, that's trying to keep us safe, because our negative narrator is operating on the influences of our subconscious mind, if that makes sense to anybody. So what did you go through? What situation did you experience that is relating to what you're getting ready to do right now? And your brain is going off saying, no, not safe. We can't do that. Don't do it. And it starts to sound like, girl, why you think you can do that? Or girl, who told you can do that? Or this, no, you can't do that right now because you need 1,000 more followers, or you can't do this right now because if you leave your job, how you gonna make money, girl? Or you can't do this. You know, it can be all the things, right? I want to start my own business, but why are you gonna go start your own business and you got this good job and you got insurance and you have stability? That's your negative narrator stopping you because this new thing that you want to do that you're not comfortable with is just not safe to them. And just like your negative narrator will present you a whole case, y'all going to court, an entire case, and lay it out in front of you, structured really, and everything. You have to fight back with proof that you can. And then it's, how do I get there, though?
Yeah.
How do I present proof to the negative narrator that I'm okay? How do I show Monica, girl, take a seat. I got this. Don't worry about it. And that's where the work begins.
Yeah.
And so I address that in the book. I present Monica on a rampage. So if you guys are ready for the ultimate trauma dump, it's 5 acts of Monica going crazy. And then in between these acts, there are interludes, like a stage play. And the interlude are, what did you just go through? I got some shadow work in there, everything. So there's a workbook, there's questions, there's a breakdown on what you just experienced with Monica. And then I want you to look in yourself and ask yourself, well, have you been there? What was that like for you? Can you link back to where it started? Because that's the key with these voices. For me, it was, I grew up in a situation where you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're bad. You're fast. You're this. You're that. Blame, shame, label, punish. Story of my life, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, those voices of other people became my own. Right. And I started telling myself, oh, you being fast. Oh, you doing this. Oh, you doing that. So you have to reach in and go back and say, okay, this started here. And then you got to heal that. You got to know that. And I say, the more you learn about yourself, the more you accept about yourself, the more you heal within yourself, then when you resolve those things, discernment, like that circles back to you, like, how can you tell the difference between Monica and you? Once you know who you are, know what you're capable of, and wholeheartedly believe that, you'll be able to discern between what you know is factual as far as your abilities and what this narrator is trying to present to you to keep you safe.
Yeah. Gotcha. I like the way that you describe that. And I love this challenging of these essentially negative core beliefs. They're things that you've heard and they have become beliefs. And now this voice is telling you all of these things to keep you from going outside of whatever it is you were taught. You know, like you said, gave the example of, don't leave that good job. That voice came from somewhere. Probably your grandmother told you, or so your mom or dad or somebody said that when you were younger. That's the goal. You got to get a good job. You got to stay there for 30 years. And that's not even the world we live in anymore. But this voice is still operating from a space of whatever you were told, years ago. And I love that you have been able to kind of challenge those beliefs and going back and forth with Monica, squaring up and all, and being able to really defeat her. What was that journey like? I mean, I know you said that you did get help and you did do some other things, but what was it going like for you going from recognizing this is what's going on to getting help to being where you are right now?
Okay, so I share this a lot on my show, so this isn't something that hasn't been unheard before. But in the beginning, I know this is going to sound crazy to some of you. I used to stop Monica out loud. Literally, when she would show up, I don't care where I was at, what I was doing. I'd be like, girl, not today. I would say lies. Lies out loud. My 3-year-old son was walking around going lies, because I would stop and say it.
Okay.
Especially around my kids, because I'm on this journey also of trying to be a very different parent than what I was raised in. So when my kids, I have to let go of the idea of my kids doing things to intentionally be disobedient or whatever. They're being kids. They don't know.
Yeah.
And what I think they're doing, that's not what they're doing. And I can't insert myself into their actions. And if it's something that needs to be corrected, I need to find the tools to correct them in a healthy way. So with my kids a lot, they'll be doing something and I'll have Monica show up, like, first thing she say, they need a whooping, and lies, like straight out loud, because what my baby need a whooping for being a baby, but I got whooped for being a baby, I got whooped for being a kid. So it was like, that was one of the things I'll say. Lies are saying, girl, I got this. It became something that I don't have to do out loud anymore. But in the beginning, I needed to like physically shut her down. And the best way I could was to be loud. I had to be louder than her. And that I had to project that voice and just shut it down. So that's how it started.
Gotcha.
Before all the help, before the journaling, before the coaching, before all the classes and all the tools and resources, literally me screaming at her wherever I was at and people looking at me crazy because I would even do it in the store. Look,
listen, I'm here for it because honestly, that is a really, that's how you have to do it. Like negative thoughts or a negative inner critical voice, whatever it looks like for you, you have to tell that thought to shut up. You have to talk back to it. So, I mean, it might seem a certain type of way if you're out in public and, people looking at you, it probably, like what is going on with her. But at the same time, it is effective because you do have to be louder than that voice. Your beliefs have to take over and you have to refute those voices or that whatever that negative thought is. You have to refute it with evidence and you have to talk back to it in order to change the narrative.
And I did. I could be picking up bread. Like, I know you lying. And people be like, excuse me, ma'am. No, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. So you said you did eventually get to the point where you sought like professional help to help you walk through that. What was that experience like for you?
The best thing that I always share that was asked to me was, Julie, who are you? Mm-hmm. That was the starting point of all things for me. Yeah. Who are you? And me answering the question and being told no over and over again. No, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, who are you? Yeah. And me doing the things. I'm a writer, producer. No, who are you? I'm a mom, a wife. No, who are you? I'm a... Like... What I just told, what are you asking me? I'm a daughter, a friend. No. Who are you? Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. And having to be real with that answer. And having to understand after saying, I'm angry and I'm resentful and I'm hurting and I want to hurt people because I don't like the way I feel. And why did this happen to me? Going through those things and then going through what happened to me and how to kind of heal from those things. Not kind of, but heal from those things. And what does healing look like for me? What do I really need to be okay? Those are the things that like started this journey and I'm still on it. I had my days. It's days where me and Monica be in here and I just be like... Today is one of them. If people want to know, I woke up sick. I was feeling bad 2 days. And when I confirmed with you last night, I was like, I'm good. Took a whole bunch of medicine, vitamins, everything, went to bed, woke up today. Like, how is it getting worse? And Monica like, girl, you should cancel and just go back to bed. And I'm like, we not doing that. We getting up and we going to drink some tea and we going to make it happen. But yeah, even that, she's trying to usher me off to bed. And I'm like, I'm well enough. I'm not pushing myself past my capacity. I'm well enough to get up and do it because we got work to do, girl. Yeah. So it's always there. Yeah. And it's hard to kind of escape that. I think that everybody's journey looks, a little bit different in how they approach it. But I love your journey in therapy. And I love that your therapist asked you that question, who are you? I feel like we tend to do that with our clients. And
that's usually the answer we get back. It's something that is like not what we ask. Like, we describe ourselves and we define ourselves by what we do in our relation to other people, which is okay because we're social beings. But at the core of it, like deep down, who are you? And I think that inner critical voices can have more of an impact when we don't know who we are because we're not able to talk back to it. Because what you gonna say? Oh, I'm a daughter. So what does that even mean to this voice that's trying to beat you up and really, truly trying to take you out in some way? And so I love that you were able to kind of discover who you are and use this to help others. Now, I got to take you back because you said that you were kind of trauma dumping and then you kind of formed something beautiful out of that in that you created a formal kind of podcast. Like, what was that like for you kind of going through that journey of feeling like, okay, I'm trauma dumping this onto my people. And now I want to make this something that is a lot more than that. And I want to help and heal other people. How did you go from this end to where you are right now and being able to help so many people on your podcast?
Well, okay. One, I didn't know I was trauma dumping. I didn't know what that was. I was sharing my story.
Okay, you said you was trauma dumping.
I know, no, I said it because that's exactly what I was doing. But in those moments, I was sharing my story, and then after having a conversation about it, because I was also sharing my story online, and I was keeping people hostage on my phone for hours, just. I needed to get it out, and I had a conversation with a friend about healthy outlets.
Yes.
Like, hey, I love you, but you messing up my day, girl. Like, hearing it out, we can't be friends if you're going to be keeping me on the phone for 3 hours doing this to me. And then I turn around and get notifications from you doing it on Facebook. Do you have somebody you can talk to? Because you're there. You're ready to talk about it. You just need the right person to talk about it too. So when people I stopped doing Facebook Lives, like, because then my inner critic showed up like, oh my gosh, you're hurting people. What are you doing? I stopped.
Gotcha.
I disappeared for a little while. So this wasn't like when I came back first, I came back with the blog. And if you go read my early blogs, they still lightweight, creative trauma dumps. But so I did that. And then I started building the podcast. And I started reaching out to talk to people on the show. And then from that, it grew. Which each episode you learn more, which more I'm learning about myself. So it was almost like you're watching my personal growth, but the growth of my business at the same time, since it was all jumbled in together. So the more I learned and the more I healed and the more people I talked to bring on the show to help heal other people, things have just been graduating naturally. And that's why I love the show, because it's so organic. It's authentic. It's me raw and unfiltered. Like, hey, like I was that crazy girl on her couch and now I'm here with you.
Yeah. I love a beautiful story like that. I don't know if you've watched the recent show on Netflix, Baby Reindeer. It's been taken over in the world. Like it was like #1 for a couple of weeks, I think. But it's basically this guy going through his experience of being stalked by someone. And he turned this really horrible experience into this beautiful, like, piece of I think it's 8 or 9 episodes. I'm not sure how many are in the series or whatever. But he turned his experience into something that really, I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people. And it sounds like you kind of did the same thing. Like, but I love to see people turn their experiences into something that is productive and something that is helpful. And I love seeing that. Like so many people I find they get stuck in it and they don't really do anything with it. And it just kind of, it ends up being just still that trauma dump, still that, oh, I'm going to drain all of my friends, but I'm not going to go get the help or whatever. So I love that part of your story, being able to kind of see you move through that and help other people. And now you have this amazing book that is also helping people. So it's really great to see that. What's one thing you wish people kind of knew about just dealing with this sort of thing? Anything special you want to share about the book that you want people to know before purchasing it?
Gosh, there's so many special things. Okay. So one of many, I would say that everything is super simple. Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to follow. It's really simple. It's very short because I know we live in like that snap, crackle, pop society. So I tried to make everything as simple as possible, but it's packed full of things that are really helpful. And I did design it not only so you can just read like Monica acting crazy all day, but so you can like interact with yourself. So it's an interactive piece. And I like that. And I love the fact that I poured into it creatively because I've always found refuge in creative expression. So that's why it's even structured this way. So it's creative, but it's real. And it allows you the opportunity to like dive in between all the stories and really find your positive voice and start shining light on that so that it can, regain control from your Monica, your negative narrator. I heard noisy roommate, gremlin. There's a lot of names for it, that voice.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I definitely, I don't think I ever gave my voice a name, but she's gotten a lot quieter lately. And I'm kind of where you are. I don't have to do it out loud anymore. It can just be like, girl, stop playing with me. So I'm really, you get to that point, and I know that when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't feel like it'll ever change or it'll ever end. So definitely, that you're able to share this, because I feel like it's something so many people need, or maybe don't even know that they need yet. Maybe they're listening right now and they realize, dang, I've been dealing with that for like the last 20 years or the last 10 years and I had no clue. It may even pop up as imposter syndrome for some people, that really gets into a lot of people's heads. So I really feel like that can be helpful for them. So, Julie, I want to know something I ask everyone that comes on the show. How do you personally connect with the idea of being self-aware and fucked up?
Okay. So I think this is going to be a little different than what I said before, but it was easier almost when I didn't know. Like, because now I didn't have to be accountable, right? I knew what I knew. I had the skills that I had, the tools that I had, and I was just behaving any kind of way. Now, when I stumble or when I have in those days and I can recognize it, now I got to do some work. Right. Like, where did it come from? Why is this happening? What can I do to resolve it, to heal it? And all that takes a whole lot of work. And it doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always look good. And like I said, it was just being aware is kind of effed up. It is like in a good way and a bad way, because I'm moving through these spaces, right? And I'm healing them and I'm becoming better. But at the same time, man, when I didn't know no better, it was a good time until it wasn't, So yeah, that's kind of where it is with me today. It's just like, man, it was less challenging when I didn't have the no.
I'm trying to process that. It's not computing for me because I'm like, what? But no, I kind of get it in that. Yeah, they say when you know better, you'll do better. And sometimes you don't necessarily feel like fighting it. Sometimes it's more difficult because you got to do better versus being able to use that. But I'm sure that your relationship with Monica is better now.
It is, because I don't give her any power. So she probably mad at me, but it's okay.
She'll be okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Julie, I so appreciate your time today. Definitely appreciate you fighting through the illness, the cooties. I'm just saying, to get here and have this chat. Definitely, I'm grateful and of you sharing time and space with me today. How can people connect with you, purchase your book, listen to your podcast, book you for a speaking engagement? How can they do all of those things?
Okay, so to do all of the things, you can go to selectivehearingshow.com. That is, you can find anything about me on my website. All my social media is on there. There's email. You can connect with me. You can do anything. You can reach me there. But if you want to just go straight to social media, all my handles are at Selective Hearing Show, and my book is available on Amazon.
Okay. And they can get you for public speaking and all that good stuff on your site too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. So you can send a contact form to book me for a public speaking engagement, and it will go straight to my agent, and they'll work all the details out with you.
Thank you so much, Julie. I really appreciate you coming today. Guys, make sure that you connect with Julie. All of the information for her will be in the description of this episode. Make sure that you guys purchase her book. Also, make sure you check out her podcast, Selective Hearing, as well as check out her blog on her website. Again, guys, also make sure that you follow me, Tree the LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Tree the LPC. Until next time, be safe, be well, and make sure that you take care of your mental health.